Welcome to another exciting video on our channel. Today we will dive into one of the most important books for understanding the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Mastering Bitcoin, Unlocking Digital Cryptocurrencies by Andreas M. Antonopoulos. This book is essential for anyone who wants to understand what Bitcoin is and how its technology works. In this video, we'll explore each chapter to discover what it teaches us. Let's begin. The first chapter of Mastering Bitcoin introduces Bitcoin by highlighting its revolutionary peer-to-peer transaction capability, which eliminates the need for a central intermediary like a bank. Antonopoulos emphasizes how traditional financial systems rely heavily on trust, meaning users must trust institutions to safeguard their money and process transactions fairly. In contrast, Bitcoin offers a trustless system where cryptographic protocols ensure the validity of transactions, independent of a trusted third party. This trustless nature is one of Bitcoin's most critical innovations. Moreover, Bitcoin was created in 2009 to solve a significant flaw in earlier digital currencies, the double spending problem. Double spending occurs when the same digital asset is spent more than once, which Bitcoin overcomes through its decentralized verification system, ensuring that each transaction is unique and final. In the second chapter, Antonopoulos dives deeper into the technological foundation of Bitcoin, the blockchain. The blockchain is essentially a public ledger that records every Bitcoin transaction. What makes this technology groundbreaking is its transparency and security. Each transaction is encrypted and linked to the previous one, forming a chain of blocks that is nearly impossible to alter. The advanced cryptography ensures that once data is entered into the blockchain, it cannot be tampered with, protecting the integrity of the entire system. Key cryptographic elements like public and private keys are introduced as vital components for verifying ownership and authorizing transactions. These keys allow users to maintain control over their Bitcoins and ensure that only authorized parties can access their funds, making the system highly secure. The third chapter introduces practical tools for interacting with Bitcoin, starting with Bitcoin wallets. These wallets, whether in the form of software applications or physical devices, store private keys, essentially the user's key to accessing and managing their Bitcoins. Antonopoulos breaks down how these wallets work and offers guidance on how to set them up securely. Additionally, the author discusses Bitcoin nodes, which are computers connected to the network that verify transactions and maintain the blockchain. The importance of nodes is central to keeping Bitcoin decentralized, as they contribute to the system's integrity by verifying every transaction independently. For newcomers, this chapter is invaluable, offering both theoretical knowledge and practical advice on how to safely explore and engage with the Bitcoin network. In Chapter 4, Antonopoulos addresses Bitcoin mining. He explains that mining is the process through which Bitcoin transactions are validated and ensures their legitimacy. It is also the process by which new Bitcoins are created. Miners compete to solve complex mathematical problems, and the first to solve them receives newly minted Bitcoins as a reward. This chapter details how mining secures the network, maintains decentralization, and regulates the creation of new coins. It also explains the significance of proof of work in ensuring the integrity of the blockchain. Chapter 5 delves into Bitcoin's peer-to-peer P2P network. Antonopoulos explains that Bitcoin operates on a P2P network, meaning there is no central server. Instead, all nodes work together to verify and record transactions. Each node in the network has a copy of the blockchain, ensuring decentralization and resilience against failures. This chapter also covers how transactions propagate across the network, how they are prioritized, and how they eventually get added to the blockchain. The sixth chapter focuses on the concept of keys and addresses in Bitcoin. Antonopoulos explains how private keys are used to sign transactions, proving ownership of Bitcoins, and how public keys are transformed into addresses to receive funds. He goes into detail about different address formats, such as P2PKH, Pay to Pub Key Hash, and P2SH, Pay to Script Hash, and the cryptographic mechanisms that ensure Bitcoin's security against attacks. This chapter highlights the importance of understanding how keys and addresses work to avoid common security pitfalls. In Chapter 7, we dive into the heart of Bitcoin's functionality: transactions. Antonopoulos explains that Bitcoin transactions are not simply exchanges of currency, but are actually scripts that define the conditions for spending Bitcoins. He introduces Bitcoin scripts, which are small programs embedded in transactions that set rules for how and when Bitcoins can be spent. This chapter reveals how transactions are grouped into blocks and how these blocks are added to the blockchain, forming the immutable public ledger. Chapter 8 is entirely dedicated to the blockchain. Antonopoulos explains in greater detail how this chain of blocks works and why it is one of Bitcoin's most important technological innovations. The blockchain is immutable, meaning once data is added, it cannot be changed. Each block is cryptographically linked to the previous one, forming a chain of data that is resistant to tampering. This chapter also discusses the various types of blockchains, including public and private blockchains, and how Bitcoin uses a decentralized model to secure its network. In Chapter 9, Antonopoulos turns to advanced Bitcoin applications. Here we explore how Bitcoin can be used not only as digital money but also as a platform for building smart contracts, multi-signature transactions, and other decentralized financial applications. The author presents examples of how these concepts can be applied in real-world scenarios, enabling the creation of alternative financial systems that do not depend on traditional intermediaries. This chapter demonstrates the versatility of Bitcoin as a technology far beyond simple currency transactions. Chapter 10 explores how Bitcoin is already being used in the real world. Antonopoulos presents real-world use cases in countries with unstable economies where Bitcoin offers a viable alternative to local currencies. He also discusses how Bitcoin is being utilized for international remittances, helping people send money to their families without the high fees typically associated with traditional services. This chapter also touches on some of the challenges and limitations that Bitcoin still faces, but emphasizes its potential to transform entire economies. In Chapter 11, Antonopoulos discusses the critical issues of privacy and security in Bitcoin. He warns of the potential security risks involved in using cryptocurrencies and offers advice on how to protect oneself from attacks and vulnerabilities. He also highlights the importance of privacy, explaining that while Bitcoin transactions do not require user identities, they are traceable. The author provides recommendations for improving privacy when using Bitcoin and outlines some of the common mistakes that could compromise security. Finally, in Chapter 12, Antonopoulos looks toward the future of Bitcoin. He offers his vision of how Bitcoin and blockchain technology could evolve in the coming years. From scalability improvements to integration with emerging technologies like the Internet of Things (IoT), the author presents a picture of how Bitcoin might reshape the financial world as we know it. Although the future is uncertain, Antonopoulos believes Bitcoin has a crucial role to play in the transformation of the global economy. And with that, we conclude our journey through Mastering Bitcoin. This book offers a deep dive into the technical and philosophical aspects of Bitcoin that Andreas M. Antonopoulos so brilliantly presents. If you're interested in exploring Bitcoin further, this book is a must-read. Be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos on cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and the future of money. Until next time.